went 26-10, 14-4 in Big 12 play. And we are underway here in this exhibition matchup. And right away, it's Shaylee Gonzalez with the bucket.
And one of the most heralded freshmen for Texas to come into this program. You saw Booker making that pass. We'll see a lot of Booker as the game goes on.
Midwestern State comes in after going 6-22 a year ago, but an almost completely new roster brought in by Bernita Jackson. And a whistle. Offensive foul on Zaria Carter.
Yeah, I think an illegal screen right there. Points of emphasis. Refereeing again is a big deal as we come into the season. That's one of the points of emphasis, setting proper screens.
For Texas, Vic Schaefer going with a guard-heavy lineup. Harmon, Gonzalez, Holly, Phi, and the freshman Booker. Gonzalez, first 2 buckets of the night.
Nice job of execution by Texas. That's what you want to see from a team like Texas right now. Playing a D2 team is coming out focused.
Lisa Amos with the miss. Hattie Phi.
Looks like she got hit in the neck or the face right there.
Harmon with the whistle on Midwestern State. Rory Harmon working on her moves down low and her shooting this offseason. Coming off again the Big 12 preseason player of the year prediction, 2-time All-American, and really has embraced a leadership role now in her junior season.
And she has worked at her game this summer. If you remember, from her freshman to sophomore year, she spent a lot of time in the gym, gained some muscle and put some pounds on that frame, and has the ability to go a lot of minutes in games. But this year she has worked on her shooting, and we expect to see her shoot better. That was one of the questions last year, of she struggled shooting from the field. Something Texas needs from her is to be a better shooter.
What are you looking for in a matchup like this today out of Texas?
I think just focus. Right now, the first thing is focus, execution. You're going to want to get your new players in there. We see Madison Booker, 35 right here. She's a freshman, starting for Vic Schaefer.
And Midwestern State with their first bucket of the contest.
Nice drive by Green.
Back the other way, Hattie Phi battling underneath, but traveled.
Yeah, Midwestern State has 6 players that have transferred, but they have some players that have also been around the program, got some quickness there. Nikki Green taking the drive. Is that shoot around with them today, and they are a delight to be around. This is a team with a lot of new pieces. A lot of work to be done for Bernita Jackson.
8 transfers brought in, 6 from Texas Wesleyan, where the head coach Bernita Jackson coached a year ago. Zaria Carter, Holly in front of her, and Rory Harmon comes up with the steal. Numbers back the other way for Texas. Harmon drops it off for Madison Booker, who's the preseason Big 12 freshman of the year. That one deflected by Gonzalez, taken away by Phi. Booker, the freshman, dishes it off to Shea Holly, who runs into a trio of Mustangs. Jump ball, possession arrow, Midwestern State.
We saw a shoot around today, and it was all about defense. And it doesn't surprise me Texas has come out playing hard defensively. This is what they do, getting passing lanes. And looked like Harmon was taking a shot right there. Good job by Booker of just getting down the floor, being in the right place at the right time. Those two are going to make a lot of plays together this year.
The defense you mentioned for Texas, so good a year ago. Top 20 in the nation in turnovers forced per game, and number 3 in the country in blocks per contest.
Well, defense is what fuels Texas. They make it tough on every single team that they play against.
A whistle on Madison Booker. She was ranked the number 12 recruit in the nation, coming out of Mississippi, 2-time Gatorade Mississippi Player of the Year.
Yeah, she has known Vic Schaefer since she was, what, in 7th or 8th grade. Vic has been recruiting her when he was at Mississippi State. She chose to come to Texas because of Vic Schaefer. I'm telling you what, people, hang on, because she is a good one.
Catalina Cortez unable to get past Gonzalez. Michaela Coy, shot clock at 3, fires one up off the front of the rim. Rebound by Texas. If Booker can play anywhere from the 1 to the 4, correct?
Yeah, and see her post up right now, and she's playing the 4. She started at the 4 today. You see Booker with a move inside. Just got that big body and those skills to be able to play inside, outside. And again, we talk about Gaston being out for a while. it's going to fall on the shoulders of Booker, of Amina Muhammad, players like that to play at the 4 position. Jacqueline and Menentanda we'll see as well, a sophomore that has improved her game.
Texas with a couple of buckets from Shaylee Gonzalez and Madison Booker. Well, this matchup came about because Elena Lovato, the associate head coach for the Longhorns, and Bernita Jackson, the head coach of Midwestern State, go way back. They've been friends for years, coached against each other in junior college ball, stayed in touch ever since as Gonzalez takes it away. And this summer, Elena Lovato reached out to Bernita Jackson as Midwestern State comes up with the steal. Lovato said, hey, what do you think about coming to Austin, taking on our team at Moody Center? Bernita Jackson said this is a moment her players will never forget.
Absolutely. They, you know, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for these players to come in and play at Moody Center. Bernita Jackson, a huge Longhorn fan as well, so she's very happy to be here.
Catalina Cortez with the shot clock winding down, buries it.
Really nice job by Cortez, just a sophomore. Did a nice job under pressure. It's tough to play against Texas pressure, and when you're not accustomed to that kind of pressure, it's easy to rush your shot, rush everything.
How tough is it for this Midwestern State team coming in here playing the number 13 team in the nation, and the size difference just looking on the floor, the Mustangs with only 2 players on the roster taller than 6 feet.
Sure, but that's just a basketball read right there, and Cortez did a nice job. Coach calls her the little engine that could, despite her size at 5'2". She knows how to play the game, takes that little step back away from the defense, knocks it down.
I mean, Muhammad in there, the sophomore, misses close, 5, cleans up underneath.
That's what Phi does. She is such a monster on the boards. That's why she starts the game and plays a lot of minutes, because she is so valuable inside.
Muhammad with that length, it affected opposing shooters all season last year. Midwestern State underneath. They have to kick it back out to Spates. Grazes the rim. Hattie Phi can stay out of foul trouble this year. Look out. Speaking of fouls, that one committed by Nikki Green.
Here's Amina Muhammad going to the hoop. And, you know, Hattie she hangs around the rim, and she also pursues the basketball. You do those 2 things, good things are going to happen. You know what I've been impressed with her, just watching, and we saw it right there, her ability to finish at the rim. She struggled with that last season.
4 rebounds in the opening minutes for Phi. Here's Rory Harmon taking that one away. Dishes to Muhammad. Again, a close miss, but there is Taylor Jones just coming into the game. When she was healthy last year, extremely effective, top 15 in the country in blocks per game. Rory Harmon in the paint, rolls around and out. Texas battles for it. Gisela Maul in there, and 1 from Maul. Well, freshman out of Cedar Park.
It isn't smooth. This isn't a lot of execution right here. A little bit of broken plays. Rory gets a decent look at the basket here, but nice job by Maul. Maul is, you know, she's coming off of that ACL injury. This is a young lady that knows how to score a lot of points. She's got some opportunities here, I think, to play at the point guard, play at the 2 guard. Get a lot of minutes for Texas, a team that needed backcourt presence last season. They were really thin last year at the guard position.
This is a really deep team, probably the deepest of the Vic Schaefer era since he arrived here in Austin.
When you look at the list of those 4 players, you could probably add Heron to that list that won't see playing time today, and that's 5 players on the bench. You add those guys to the mix, and that is a lot of depth.
Rory Harmon nearly got a hand on it. Harmon, 72 steals in 31 games a year ago. Texas goes to the floor. You couldn't tell. It's an exhibition matchup from the effort these teams are exerting. Here is Maul spinning, lost the handle. Back the other way, Cortez pulls up. Kayla Coy back to the 5'2" sophomore. Look at the matchup there.
Mismatch there.
Against 6'4" Taylor Jones, more than a foot taller, but on the other wing, it's Nikki Green.
Again, calm, cool, and collected, these shooters for the Mustangs.
Texas will open up the regular season next week against Southern here from Moody Center. Holly in the corner, Maul. In the corner, Shea Holly with a good look. When Ntanda battles for it. Again, Texas with a huge length advantage. Harmon halfway down and out. Holly gets it to go.
Absolutely. You know, those are some good looks for Texas right there, but they're getting second chance opportunities. Do you remember their rebound rate last year? Offensive rebound rate was off the charts.
Top 15 in the country in offensive rebounds per game. Texas up by 11
boards. Taylor Jones part of that, but everybody for Texas' team has hit the boards really well here in the first quarter.
It's a good chance for Vic Schaefer to get a full look at this deep roster, especially again with a number of players out for this one. Aaliyah Moore and Deanna Gaston back the other way. Come the Mustangs. A miss, but the board down low. And a foul on Jones.
Did you see Carter run the floor right there? Bernita Jackson loves the fact that Zaria Carter can get down the floor quickly for her. It may not translate here, although it almost did on that last play. But I'm telling you what, in their conference this season, she is going to be able to beat some people down the floor.
I saw her run down the floor, and I also saw Vic Schaefer come up out of his chair after Texas got beaten the other way. He is seated again, but...
Well, I'll tell you why. 6 turnovers here in the first quarter already, and that was the last one down at the other end. Could have been an easy layup had the ball not been brought down lower where these pesky defenders can rip it away from you. I see a little bit of a 3/4 court press. Midwestern State likes to be pesky on defense, run pressure, get in passing lanes.
Gisela Mall, who was an early enrollee last year, joined the team in the middle of the season again, coming out of Cedar Park. When Ntanda.
This box out.
Back the other way comes Midwestern State. Again, almost an entirely new roster for the Mustangs. The complete opposite for the Longhorns, who return nearly everybody. Cortez dishes it out. That one a little bit too strong. Bobbled around. Midwestern State with the board. And finally, Mall comes down with it.
Yeah, Coy battling in there inside. She's 5'11", not intimidated.
Gisela Mall, former Texas Gatorade Player of the Year. Harmon with the moves. Pull-up jumper. No. A sneaky rebounder, Rory Harmon. Texas draws the foul. She'll have those games where you look over at the stat sheet and all of a sudden she had 7 or 8 rebounds.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about Rory Harmon is she hangs around the basket to get those rebounds, but she's such a great offensive rebounder as well. I know Vic Schaefer has talked about maybe allowing her to go to the offensive boards a little bit more and sending somebody else back on defense. As anybody that knows basketball knows that the point guard usually is the one that stays back as the safety on defense, but because of her rebounding ability, I'd like to use her a little bit more on the O boards.
I loved what she said during shoot-around earlier today when they were practicing rebounding drills. She was telling her teammates, take it personally, take rebounding personally, show that aggression, that intensity, and she was displaying that out there, not just talking about it.
I think there's a difference to Rory Harmon this year. There's a different maturity to her. If you listen to her speak, she has a different mentality about the game. Some of that comes just with, you know, growing up and a little bit of age, but some of it comes with heartbreak. And I've been there. I know what it means to lose games that are really, really important and not want to be in that situation again. So you do everything you can to get your teammates to work as hard as they can.
One fired off the glass by Coy. Yet you bring that up last year, the heartbreak of getting eliminated in the second round. They had that great season up until then, winning the Big 12 regular season championship. But again, they lost Sonia Morris, who was one of their starters for at least the last month of the season. It was tough to overcome that.
Yeah, I think from start to finish, it was tough for Texas last year. As you see the defense, great help side by Taylor Jones. The thing is do you remember last year they started off ranked in the preseason rankings #3?
Yep.
They had all of these injuries, and then they were booted out of the tournament by Louisville. Haley Van Lith with a terrific game, just a team that was a lot tougher. I'll tell you what, I'd much rather start at 13 like this year and work my way up and have healthy players than have last year's #3 ranking to start with.
I don't think Vic loved the fact that they were ranked that highly last year. As you said, coming off the injuries to begin the year, just like this season when you have Deanna Gaston, who's going to be out for a while. Aaliyah Moore cleared to practice, but still not cleared to play. As we have just over 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. We do plan on hearing from Aaliyah Moore in the second quarter. We'll have her mic'd up. on the Texas bench. Oh, Taylor Jones just swatting that with ease.
And this is a healthy Taylor Jones. You see her out there, doesn't have any back braces on, isn't wearing any shoulder braces, and you see that length can cause so many problems.
Oh, she's healthy, look out. Shea Holly with the foul. Jones missed multiple games last year with the lower body injury. Before that, missed 21 games with Oregon State. Final 21 games there with the shoulder, but knock on wood, looks healthy to begin this season.
And she told Coach Schaefer that, oh, nice play.
Oh, wow.
Look at Green.
Smart play by Nikki Green, but
yeah,
they couldn't convert. Shea Holly. A little too high for Taylor Jones. Gonzalez behind the back. Back the other way comes Nikki Green. 2-on-2. Goes right up against Harmon. Offensive foul. Rory Harmon taking the charge in the exhibition season.
Yeah, and let's take a look at this, because here's an interesting thing. You know, see Rory Harmon outside of that arc that we used to call the restricted arc. That arc is no longer in play in the women's game. In the men's game it is. This would have been a charge whether the arc was in play or not. But keep your eye on that as the season goes on, as games go on. And the restricted area is now this small 24-inch area right under the cylinder.
Before we continue that conversation, Texas now with 9 turnovers in the first quarter. And Nikki Green from outside.
Yeah, and I think that was actually 10. It's 9 turnovers. Let's just put it this way. That's way too many turnovers here.
That's about 9 too many for Vic Schaefer in the first quarter here as time winds down. Final 70 seconds of the quarter.
Nice pass.
Great pass from Harmon and Taylor Jones.
I think
Yeah, that restricted area, why did they change that rule this year?
Because we were trying to get away from all the crashes under the basket, but I think in the years that they've had the restricted area, forcing people to defend further away from the basket, there's been more crashes, and it hasn't really helped. One of the things that you have to do if you're a Texas team like this is you need to keep things a little more simple. Don't let the defense of Midwestern State get to you. That is definitely something Vic Schaefer has been talking about, I'm sure.
Texas is shooting 60% from the field. Taylor Jones with 6 points and 3 rebounds in the first quarter. But on the other end, Jada Gomez, the Pflugerville native, with friends and family on hand.
Yeah, just 5'5", a freshman just out of high school. So she played for Pflugerville. And you see Book make a basket there, Madison Booker.
That was a glimpse of what she can do. Special move by the freshman as the Mustangs lost the handle on the other end. Madison Booker played in Spain over the summer, the end of the 19th World Cup. She really didn't have a summer, played in numerous tournaments, no real offseason for the Big 12 preseason Freshman of the Year.
And it'll take her a little while to get in the groove, I think, at the college level. These preseason game and I think early season games is going to be great for this entire team with the new pieces for Texas to just get some momentum.
Well, Taylor Jones with that massive height advantage of 6'4" with the bucket. Final seconds ticking down here in the first quarter. That one high off the glass. Texas leads 26-30 in 6 minutes of action. Texas with the major height advantage as the second quarter gets underway. There's one thing for Vic Schaefer to harp on after this one. The turnovers obviously were an issue in the first quarter. 9, nearly another one there.
Well, and if you're Bernita Jackson, you have to be pleased with the fact that your players have been able to run their game plan and cause a little bit of disruption on the Texas team.
Well, we now bring in the third member of our broadcast team, at least for this quarter. Aaliyah Moore joins us. Aaliyah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. How's the injury? Tell us what's the latest.
I will be back really, really soon. Like I'm nipping at the bud. I'm so excited. I'm full go in practice. I think the end of November, so sometime around the Virgin Islands, or when we play ORU is when I'll be back.
I heard you were sneaking into practice, and Coach Schaefer had to get you off the floor a couple of times.
Always. He's been doing that since I want to say the summer. I just miss it so much. This is the longest I've went without playing, and just playing basketball. So I'm I'm just so close. So every time I get a chance, I want to get on the floor.
What do you make of this year's team? It seems to be the deepest since Vic Schaefer arrived. A lot of talent on this roster.
Yeah, no, definitely. We have a lot of like seniority, which we haven't had before. A lot of maturity and basketball IQ from the older ones, which I think is good. So hopefully we use that to our advantage.
Give us a little insight as to the timeouts during the first quarter and the end of the first quarter. What Coach Schaefer have to talk about, and what was the tone of the timeouts?
Yeah, not great, just because we have a standard here, and the turnovers is not acceptable. Not being in help, not acceptable. Giving up easy buckets is not acceptable. And we're supposed to dominate. That's what we're supposed to do. So, I mean, he had things that he told them we needed to improve on, and so it's our job to go out there and fix it.
How hard is it to sit on the bench and watch your team, even though it's an exhibition match, watch your team play without you?
Oh, it's so hard. I already asked him 3 times before the game, can I play? Knowing that I definitely could not play by doctor's orders, but it's worth a try.
What was it like having Drake visit you? We'll get into more of that at halftime. But he visited the team, and I believe he was wearing your jersey. Is that true?
He was indeed, yes. All my teammates were laughing at me because of how I responded when he came into the locker room. But, I mean, come on now. If Drake walks in wearing your number, even if it was on purpose or not, you would be like, oh, my gosh.
Was that the biggest celebrity you've encountered? Because even here, Moody Center, we see a lot of celebs throughout the year at Austin.
Yeah, I think meeting that close, I would say I'm pretty sure it's him. I did get pretty close to Little Baby once.
Did Coach know who either of those artists were?
I think he knew who Drake was.
They did? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Amo, I'm curious about what your team has talked about in the locker room and when you have meetings about this season and about what your goals are for this year. A bit of a disappointing end to the year last season. You weren't on the floor, obviously, with that knee injury, but that loss to Louisville really stung.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. And like you said, I wasn't on the floor, but watching that was very, very painful because I know the hard work that me and my teammates put in from the beginning of the year. And so to go out like that, it's just like, man, it's an opportunity that we just weren't, I think, prepared for, ready for. We just didn't show up to play. Louisville just showed up. But I know this year we definitely have talked about we have more leadership. We have more experience. We have no excuse this year. Like, we need to put our head down and go to work. And, of course, getting everyone healthy, that would also really help.
Texas nearly came up with the turnover. I was told by Little Birdie that you wanted to get into sportscasting, broadcasting. Is that true?
I do, yes. I would love, that's my dream. ESPN, Fox, I don't really care. I want to do it all. Play-by-play, broadcasting, all of it.
This is your resume reel right here. Do you want to do a little play-by-play or analysis? Which one?
Oh, gosh.
Go for it.
I'll try my best.
Okay, here we go. Well, you can take it off the inbounds here.
Okay.
By the way, we've seen Vic Schaefer now get up off the bench. We know that usually only happens if something has caught his eye or his attention.
Yeah, he's not too happy with that, the call, and I think our defensive execution was not great. And we better box out. That has been something that he has been putting an emphasis on. Make sure we box out!
Batista Amos at the line. All right, let's hear a little play-by-play,
Oh,
Amos.
gosh, I'm nervous. Okay. Oh, God, I don't even know where to start. Okay. I don't know where to start.
No worries. Hey, it's an exhibition broadcast,
you're right. You're right.
Just be you.
Shaylee Gonzalez with the ball on the right wing. She passes to Shay Holly down low.
I love it. There you go. That's his. I mean, I'm not doing any better than that. I'm going to take my headset off right now.
That was perfect opportunity. Perfect execution right there, Texas. Shay Holly at the free throw line.
How do you like the small lineup out there? Tell us about the small lineup that Vic started with and putting Book at the 4.
Well, you know, with me and Dee out, we've had to throw a few lineups around, and I think, too, playing a smaller team. Also, you have such versatile players. You have Amina, you have Maddie, Maddie can play 1 through 4. Amina can play, 3 and 4, sometimes 5 if she has to, and then Hattie's an athletic post. Of course, Shay's crazy athletic. So we have a lot of depth this year and a lot of areas that we can move around, and that's why it's so exciting when when we get Meet and D back, because we'll get even deeper.
Hey, what's it like to play with Madison Booker? I know she's got eyes behind her head, but talk about it.
No, I love Maddie. She's like my little sister, honestly. I've had to help her a lot and just help her grow. She has a lot on her shoulders as a freshman, and I told her, like, me and Rory kind of went through the same thing our freshman year. Coach looks at you for a lot. You know, she's playing 1 through 4, but I told her he wouldn't do that if he didn't think you were capable. She was, you know, freaking out this morning because she was like, I have to play the 4. I was like, look at it this way. That's more minutes that you have on the floor. So look at the bright side. And again, coach wouldn't put you in that situation if he didn't believe that you would excel at it.
Don't foul, man. Do not foul.
Box! Good, Shaylee! Get on the floor!
Jump ball. Possession arrow, Texas. I can't believe you're a junior already. I feel like you just arrived on campus.
I feel the same exact way, and it's crazy to think I have not played a full college season yet. I was hurt my freshman year, hurt last year, and then this year I'm still missing all of November. So it's like I'm just praying to God, you know, knock on wood, that one of these years I'll get a full play.
What's the thing you learn the most when you have to sit out? You're kind of watching the game from your perspective.
Yeah, I actually grew a lot this year. I'll say most of it was from me watching on the sideline. You get a whole different perspective, and you gain way more knowledge. My appreciation for the game has went up so much because I wasn't able to play. But just those little details that coach would nag about, you realize how important they really, really are. And like, not necessarily in games like this, but like when we play UConn or even like March, like the little details that will win championships.
What's the team's mindset coming off last year where you had this special season, you won the Big 12 for the first time in decades, but obviously I know you all wanted to go deeper in the NCAA tournament.
Yes, of course. I think our mindset, it needs to be, you know, honestly, this is mine, you know, kill every night. Like, not literally, but like everybody that I come against, you should be afraid of me. And I think that that's how this team, that's how this team needs to approach every game. Every team should be scared of us. We should not be scared of them. Like, we are Texas, and we work our butts off every day in practice to where we should be able to hold ourselves to that, you know, that standard, basically.
I think you're a good luck charm. Texas was getting outscored in this quarter. Right when you jumped on the mic, they're on a 9-0 run.
You know, I try, man. I try. Good job, Hattie. I try my best in practice to just be like another ear other than the coaching staff, and just to tell them what I saw last season and what I see now, because you really do see a lot. And when I get on the floor, I just try not to make the same mistakes.
Did you ever want to get into coaching?
So that's funny you ask. No. 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 That is the one thing I do not want to do.
No, are you sure you could be a future assistant to Vic? No, not happening?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a stress. Like, kudos to Coach Schaefer, because me, man, I don't know.
Are you saying he's stressed? I mean, look at that face right now.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Me and my teammates were a handful. But, no, I think I'm better, you know, maybe behind the camera, you know, with a mic in my hand.
Right. Foul down low, Taylor Jones. You talk about one player who finally looks healthy. What can Taylor Jones do now that she appears to be injury-free?
Oh my gosh, yes, she finally had a summer to actually put in the work this year. You know, she wasn't out because of injury, and she's such a key part of us winning a championship. You know, her length, like her help on the defensive end, like she's already blocked, I think, 2 shots. Yes, Shaylee! Yes! But we need that from her every night. She has such a big presence. She has to help us on defense, and she has to finish in the paint. If she can do those 2 things every night, she'll help us win.
This doesn't feel like an exhibition matchup. Your team has already taken a number of charges.
Oh, I love it. I'm telling you right now, my first play back will be a charge.
You've already scripted that.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a charge. Yeah, Maddie!
Madison Booker's already made a few highlight reel plays. How special can she be?
Man, she's so special. She has so much potential. Like I said, she's so versatile, and that was something that people said about me, was that I could play so many positions. You're so hard to guard. And it's funny because as a freshman, she doesn't have potential yet, but she's nipping at the bud. Like, when she really realizes how good she can be, man, everybody better watch out.
15-0 run now since you joined us here on the broadcast.
It's just going to keep going.
She does remind me, though, of when you first appeared on campus here, just that versatility.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that I know for me, I like to use on the offensive end and defensive end. I'm usually stronger than a lot of people I go against at my position. Good job, good pass, Haley. So I feel like that's something, once it clicks in her head, it'll help her a lot.
Hey, how about your ACL twins out here? You got one of them going right now in Gisela Ball.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I cannot hear you.
Oh, no, you're okay. We're going to break anyway.
Thanks. I were talking earlier this week. He said, listen, this is a player who can play anywhere from the 1, 2, 3, 4, wherever they want to put her. Hearing that is one thing, but now seeing her out there, it's like, oh, I can absolutely see that.
Well, it changes Vic Schaefer's substitution pattern completely. And Booker can play the 1 through 4 in the course of one play, but he can also substitute in and actually make her defend from the 1 through 4 as well.
Speaking of her defending, coming up with the steal, gliding to the bucket.
Well, she's a special player. I tell you what, I don't know that Texas has seen somebody that can pass like she does. Rory right now might have a little more experience at that level, but I think over the course of her seasons here at Texas, she's going to really show that she's a tremendous passer and one of the best of all time.
A huge part of Texas's top 10 recruiting class in the nation. Under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. 21-0 Texas run that comes to an end. But still in this quarter, outscoring the Mustangs 23-5. Longhorns shooting nearly 80% from the field tonight. Great passing around the horn to Taylor Jones.
Texas just has settled down a little bit, just doing things a little more simply. See, sometimes you just don't want to overcomplicate things. Another steal.
Shaylee Gonzalez back for one more season. Meanwhile, missing from the outside is Gisela Mall.
Gisela Mall is a confident shooter. She didn't knock that down, but coming out of high school, she scored a lot of points. She had that really serious ACL in her senior year.
A couple of Texas players coming off ACLs, Mall, as well as Jordana Codio. This was moments ago, Madison Booker.
There you see her defensively. She's going to be required to play defense. That's going to impact the game. And Taylor Jones with those long arms, she always kept the ball high. She has worked extra hard this summer, I think, to keep the ball high on the inside, not bring it down and score around the rim.
Taylor Jones, not a bad stat line, 16 points in 9 minutes, 7 for 7 from the field. There's Shaylee Gonzalez, first 3 of the night for Texas. Back the other way. Jones trying to get in front of that one, and she does. Booker off the fingertips of a defender. Gonzalez converts.
Yeah, and that's an example of Booker. She's playing the 4 right now, is able to get the ball, get it down the floor as a ball handler.
Step back miss by Coy. Jones was in her face.
I mean, Texas is such a good team, and for Midwestern State, this is a really difficult matchup. I have been really impressed with how they have come out and continue to keep their composure, despite the fact that they're turning the ball over, despite the fact that they're outmatched. They don't seem frustrated. They're staying together.
And the and one by Mall, who led Cedar Park to their first ever state championship, back-to-back titles.
Yeah, Gisela Mall here, left-handed, so she'll see her start from the left side in that dribble drive quite a bit. Just comes off that little rub screen right there, nice little finish. I like her confidence. You see her out there. I think she's really going to help Texas this year. An early enrollee, as we talked about, so she hung around since Christmas of last year with the Texas basketball team, rehabbing. Finally has a chance to get on the floor.
Texas with a really strong mix of talented upperclassmen and underclassmen as well, like Mall and Booker. Less than 2 to play in the first half. Eternity Jackson. That one off of Gonzalez. Texas, talk about the passing tonight for the Longhorns. 18 assists on 26 Texas buckets.
Yeah, sharing the ball extremely well. And I think, again, you see these different combinations that Vic Schaefer has to put into the game. I think there's been some interesting combinations, I think, that have played really well in spurts here for Texas.
Rakalenga, Wenentanda back in the contest. Shot clock at 1. Jackson didn't see it. Just got it off in time, but no good. And Texas back the other way. Final 90 seconds of the half.
Nice pass.
Hattie Fye all alone, couldn't get it to fall, went in Tonda and won.
And again, another offensive rebound, went in Tonda. I'm measuring her this year. It says she's 6'2". She is taller than 6'2". You see Fye with a good look inside, not able to finish, and went in Tonda. That's something she might not have done last year consistently, is hit the offensive boards, but you saw her with that length in there.
People forget she was the #5 guard in the nation coming out of high school out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, now beginning her sophomore season with Texas.
Okay, look out there right now for Texas, and you look at one in Tonda, number 32, and 25. And Fye is listed at 6'4", and one in Tonda is 6'2". I think they're more alike in size.
Fye swats away that one and out of bounds, using all that 6'4" frame.
Nice hustle down the floor. What a great addition she was for Vic Schaefer last season, transferring in from Texas Tech.
Top 10 in the Big 12 in blocks a year ago.
And giving Texas that muscle inside. You remember the year before where they got out-muscled consistently on the interior, and that was something that needed to be a problem that needed to be solved going into last season.
But Texas has outscored the Mustangs 36-5 in this quarter.
I think it's all Aaliyah Moore.
Good luck charm. Fye splits the defense.
Yeah, high-low, great pass, post to post.
Hattie Fye with 10 points and 6 boards. Taylor Jones leads all scorers with 16 points. Longhorns on another run, a 15-0 run this time. Jackson trying to find some room. 3 defenders in her face. Texas with a shot clock off here at the end of the first half. When in Tonda kicks it back out to Mall. From downtown, Gisela Mall.
Yeah, just such a consistent, pretty shot. I think she's just going to improve her consistency as the season goes on, as her confidence is gained more and more.
Final seconds tick off. Natty Cole lost track of the clock. And these teams will head to the locker room with Texas going on a 39 to the Big 12 regular season title for the first time in 2 decades, getting knocked out in the second round of the tournament, but so much production back on this year's team. Seeing some of that here in the exhibition contest against Midwestern State. It's the second half underway. In case you missed it earlier, Aaliyah Moore out for this one. Deanna Gaston as well, and we'll wait to see how long Gaston is out to begin the year after getting injured in the orange-white scrimmage.
And you see Heron as well over there. So here's Gaston, Heron, and Aaliyah Moore all sitting on the bench. Aaliyah Moore was just released to practice full speed, full court, I think yesterday. So she's chomping at the bit to get back in. And I think for Gaston, she had that nasty ankle sprain, and that's going to take her a while to come back from.
Shay Holly with the bucket. How about Shay Holly graduating from the McCombs Business School in just 3 years with a degree in finance, and now getting her master's in strategic communications, back for another season with the Longhorns.
Well, Shay's an excellent student, but she has also improved her game over the course of her career here at Texas. If you remember her freshman year, a lot of bodies on the floor right there. Her freshman year, she was very nervous when she was out on the floor. You could see the fact that she was a track athlete. She could get up and down the floor, but she has learned over the course of her career how to be effective both at the offensive and defensive end. And she does all those little things. She got the start today. Vic Schaefer was telling us earlier today, you know, they had the secret scrimmage on Sunday in Las Vegas that many teams have against another college team. And he said Shay Holly played really, really well in that scrimmage and deserved the start.
Well, Texas has an incredible record with her in the starting lineup. They've won about 85% of their games when Holly gets the start as a whistle on Texas there here early in the third quarter.
And I think a substitution is going to happen here early here in the third quarter. A couple of breakdowns, turnover by Madison Booker, and this is not what Vic Schaefer wants to see. High expectations about attention to detail.
Madison Booker comes out. Amina Muhammad comes in. Muhammad, a member of the Big 12 all-freshman team a season ago. Former 4-star prospect coming out of DeSoto. 180 rebounds a year going. Again, her length, you could see it just bother opposing players all season long.
And here's the frightening thing. Not only has she got older and more mature coming into her sophomore season, I think she's taller and faster if you watch her get up and down the floor.
Listed at 6'4". Part of that DeSoto 2021 title team that beat Rory Harmon's Cypress Creek squad a few years back.
And don't forget she has her teammate now on the team, and Tiana Heron over on the sideline. We talked about her coming off of that heart surgery last season, transfer from Kentucky. 6 players from DeSoto from that team 2 years ago played D1 ball.
Mike Schaefer bringing in not just highly ranked recruits, but winners in the high school level as well, as Rory Harmon buries the bucket. 4 points, 4 assists for the junior Harmon. Passing down low. Midwestern State with a bucket from Zaria Carter.
And a terrific pass by Cole right there to Carter on the inside. You can see they have glimpses of doing some things offensively that are going to really bother teams in their conference. Great execution right there.
Mike Schaefer said Rory Harmon and Shaylee Gonzalez would lead practices sometimes as early as 5 o'clock in the morning, shooting around, and became contagious. Entire team started to join them. And Harmon and Gonzalez, 2 of the big leaders on this year's squad.
Well, it's important to put your time in the offseason. You see this great backdoor and this really nice high pass from Shaylee Gonzalez to Hattie Fye. I've been impressed with the passing to the posts. Much different than 2 years ago, a big difference. Last year, the passing was improved to the post players, but this year the passing is very, very good in this game.
Fye knocked it away. Gonzalez over to Shea Holly. Well, halfway down and out, and 5 fouled. Texas, 27 of 30 on layup attempts so far tonight.
And they continue to hit the offensive boards, getting those second opportunities. Hattie Fye, she played in Africa this summer for her national team, has a gold medal. Came into training camp in shape. Again, she's been such a terrific player on the interior. When you get into Big 12 play, you start playing in postseason, you need somebody that's willing to, as I always say, or we say, bang with the bigs on the inside, and definitely she's that type of player.
She was a top 15 center in the nation coming out of high school. Originally went to Texas Tech, transferred to the Longhorns before last year. Had 5 double-doubles. Talented player. Again, the key is for her to stay out of foul trouble.
It's just smothering defense right now for Texas and Midwestern State. They have turned the ball over, but not in horrible situations, it feels like. Not just clear out layups at the other end of the floor for Texas.
Well, for Midwestern State, this is not only a tough matchup to go against the number 13 team in the nation, but this is an almost entirely new roster for a brand new head coach. Bernita Jackson took over a 6-win Midwestern State team, brought in 8 transfers, 6 from her former school, Texas Wesleyan. So they're trying to find out the right combination, who should start, and what the chemistry is like.
Yeah, and they've had a couple of freshmen. They only have 3 on the team, but a couple of them have been really poised in today's game.
Offensive foul on Nikki Green.
Here's Bernita Jackson over there. I've been looking for her daughter over there. It's a little backdoor play. Great help defense by Texas. Both players getting over there. Bernita and Kevin Jackson have their 1.5-year-old on the bench, travels with them, is with the team all the time. I haven't seen her. I think she's hiding behind the bench.
A family affair for this Mustangs coaching staff. Amina Muhammad with the bucket, her first of the night.
And again, a nice pass inside, nice and high to the post player where other players can't catch it.
Reached in there trying to come up with the steal. Texas shooting 75%. 4 players in double-digit scoring for the Longhorns. Taylor Jones, 16 points. Hattie Fye, 13.
Great job by Hattie. She is so good at getting in passing lanes.
Nice fake by Midwestern State's Kayla Spates, the freshman out of Abilene.
Spates is such a terrific story. She has such a great attitude out there. Again, 5'4", a freshman, born in Japan, moved back to the States with her parents in grade school. Definitely a player that has put her work in and is appreciative of the people that have poured into her.
But they are having trouble stopping Hattie Phi. Now up to 15 points and 9 boards in 14 minutes.
Well, that's the problem, I think. The biggest problem, obviously, is the size for Texas.
Yep.
Oh, she called it.
Nikki Green, the junior from Dallas.
She didn't blink. She didn't laugh.
She's up to 10 points.
Done a nice job today of getting her shot off, finding spots.
Texas had 9 turnovers in that first quarter, but just about 3 or 4 since then.
Yeah, just step in, nice screen right there by her teammate. Nikki Green sat out last season, so she had an ACL injury, is coming back off of that. Looks very confident out there. Some quickness to her, but again, 5'6", and that's today the story, really, right? That Midwestern State has one player over 6 feet tall, and Texas with that huge size on the interior.
Hattie Phi with the foul. Close third quarter, 11-9 in favor of Texas. But again, the question was, if you're Vic Schaefer, what are you looking to see in this quarter?
Well, he's talking to Phi over there about, most likely about positioning defensively, about not getting that foul, about helping on the screen where the open shot was.
How difficult is that to improve upon in just one off season? Is Taylor Jones with the block? If you're Hattie Phi, you got in foul trouble a lot last year. How much of a difference can we expect this year?
I hope that Phi and Taylor Jones are able to play more extended minutes for Texas, because it's going to make Texas a much better team and much better to call, too. It's not any fun for anybody to watch them sit on the bench. So it's going to be important that those two players are healthy, that they're out of foul trouble, and can play a lot of extended minutes.
Speaking of extended minutes, how much longer do you want to leave Rory Harmon in there in a game like this?
Oh, I think it's important for Rory to gain a little bit of confidence. I thought that first half for Rory was decent, but I thought it was a little rough at times. She missed some shots, didn't get in a great flow. So I think keeping her in the game a little bit, getting her confidence up is important. The
big difference for her and Vic Schaefer this year, there is finally a backup point guard behind her, because last year you really had to put Shaylee Gonzalez in that position at times. You had to play Rory Harmon probably more than they wanted to at times as well. Not the case this year. Well, there were only 4 guards last year, so that isn't a lot of depth at the guard position. So that's for the 1, 2, and 3 position. They had 4 guards, and Rory Harmon had to play a lot of minutes. Didn't have a backup. This year, Giselle Amal obviously is kind of the natural one to come in as a freshman and give some minutes that she's played point guard. But I'll tell you what, Booker's going to be the one that's going to get a ton of minutes at point guard as well. She's on the bench right now. Taylor Jones, the leading scorer after that bucket, 18 points in just 11 minutes for the senior. Nice fake. The shot clock winding down and taken away by Texas. Harmon leading the charge, takes a spill, and a foul. Timeout here in the third quarter. Texas. Player in, Mom. Kylie Jackson watching this one as Rory Harmon missing the first one from the free throw line. I'll tell you what, though, it is a family affair for Midwestern State, for Bernita Jackson, wherever she goes. She is very picky about who she brings on her team, the type of players they recruit, the culture they have. I mean, the score is not going to indicate the culture and the type of players these young ladies are, the type of people that they are. Midwestern State coming out of Wichita Falls to make the trek to Austin. The Longhorns lone exhibition matchup. Again, the regular season opener next week against Southern as they come to town. Texas getting a little time in the zone. It looks like a little bit of a 1-2-2 zone. Shot clock at 2. That one heaved up at the buzzer by Cortez. Wenentanda directing traffic. Gonzalez baseline, nice pass to Taylor Jones, who's up to 20 points on the night. And again, those high passes into the post players, something we didn't see a lot of last season, really executing that well today. Jones and 5 combined for 35 points. Macy Flowers. Shot clock again dipping below 10. Spates over to the wing. Back to Spates. Got to hurry. Driving through the paint, has that one knocked away.
Yeah, you need to get the ball inside the paint, make that defense collapse a little bit. You're not going to shoot over the size of this lineup for Texas.
Harmon testing the defense, nearly had it ripped away, and a whistle.
I think one of the reasons why it's a little bit more difficult for Rory to play in this game possibly, or she doesn't have as much freedom, is there's a lot of really small players out there. She's used to being the smallest player on the floor and the fastest player on the floor. These young players and these quick players and these small players for Midwestern State are getting sort of down as low as she is.
Rory Harmon so far tonight, 6 points, 4 assists. Well, don't forget the 18th ranked Texas men's basketball team, fresh off an Elite Eight appearance, officially opens their season on Monday when they take on Incarnate Word right here on LHN at 7 Central and the ESPN app. So both the men and the women ranked top 20 in the nation. Women 13th in the preseason poll. Saw Rory Harmon there. Rory Harmon and Iowa's Caitlin Clark, the only 2 players in the nation to average at least 11 points, 7.5 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. And I know Texas doesn't quite think that Harmon gets the national attention she deserves. Obviously here in Austin and across the Big 12, we know how good she is, but nationally, I'm not quite sure if they do.
Yeah, I think that's actually true. I think she could garner more attention. I know she has, everybody knows her name in women's basketball, but the fact that she's struggled with not having the teammates around her, I think Vic has struggled with injuries and with rosters that are really short rosters in the first couple of years that he's been here. Now he's in year 4, has some depth, has some players that are coming back. She looks so much more comfortable out there this year, and I think that's really going to help her be much more of a dynamic player rather than having the weight of the world on her shoulders.
Traveling on the Mustangs. Yeah, and Rory Harmon may not put up the points that some of those other players like Caitlin Clark that they do. Harmon, in fact, last year, 0 20-point games.
We mentioned that earlier today in shoot around. We were looking at how many 20-point games she had as a freshman and then how many she had as a sophomore. As you see another great pass inside to Jones, who's just going to work in there.
As a freshman, Harmon had 4 20-point games, including a 30-point contest. What do you think changed last year?
Well, you know, I just think there's a lot of pressure. She played a lot more minutes, so she injured herself early on. She missed those first 5 games. She was coming back off of that, and again, I think she just put a lot of pressure on herself last season. The season before, maybe not quite so much pressure.
Again, Harmon, 2-time All-American, preseason Big 12 Player of the Year. Tanda off the nice pass from Gonzalez. Shaylee Gonzalez up to 6 assists.
Yeah, Gonzalez is doing a nice job of not overcomplicating things out there. Shooting when she's open, finding the bigs when they're open inside.
This is from downtown.
It's a foul right there, I believe, on Taylor Jones.
And Texas on their 3rd run of at least 13-0 of the game. Longhorn shooting 76%. The points in the paint right now, 68-8 in favor of Texas.
Now, we talked about what does Vic Schaefer want to do in the second half. How about try some lineups and look at this lineup? Rory Harmon out there with 4 players that play either the 4 or 5. Now, we've talked about Madison Booker being actually a wing that plays 1 through 4. But the size of this lineup is something that Vic Schaefer, something new to Vic Schaefer this year as far as overall size across the board.
6'2" Tanda, 6'4" Muhammad, 6'1" Booker, although she definitely looks taller than 6'1", and it's Tanda with the bucket.
More confident, more comfortable on the floor. Tanda, I think, will see more minutes this year than she did last year because of that.
She had 6 double-digit scoring outputs last year. Jones with another block. She is dominating this game.
She's got great timing. She waits for the ball to be released. Doing a good job of not getting into foul trouble. Jones
up to 4 blocks in the contest. Shot clock at 6.
It's Nikki
Going
Green
glass,
again.
yeah, it's Nikki Green.
She likes that glass. She's done a really nice job of getting to the hoop, slashing to the basket, taking some open shots outside. Impressive considering,
Honda
yeah.
passed up a good look. Buries one a few feet closer.
And I think that's something from Jacqueline Wenentanda you wouldn't have seen last year. Do you remember how she was a little jittery out there, not confident?
Jones. Here is Rory Harmon. Wenentanda out on the left. Texas will hold for the last shot of the quarter, outscoring the Mustangs 28-12 here in the third. Wenentanda makes her move baseline. Harmon dribbles through the D. Booker over to Wenentanda. Off the iron. Harmon nearly beat the buzzer, but couldn't get it to fall. And on to the...
Bob Knight and his passing and any impact he might have had on your life.
Well, he certainly, when I was growing up, he and Indiana basketball were it. I mean, it was their program, and you know, his teams were always so well prepared and so tough. And whether you liked him or not, he was very successful. 902 wins. I mean, unbelievable personality. I've heard lots of former players in the last day on the TV, and they absolutely, you know, adored him and loved him. So it's you know, it's somebody that obviously impacted our game for a long time and had such tremendous success. And again, whether you agreed with him or not, he certainly impacted our game.
Bobby Knight impacting everyone across the college basketball landscape. A number of his former players speaking out in his honor over the past 24 hours.
Well, there's such tremendous stories about Bob Knight, and you know, I've talked to Vic about fishing a lot because I love to fish. Vic loves to fish, so we were talking about the story of Vic and Bob Knight and fishing, fly fishing in Wyoming, and he's such an interesting and complicated guy. You know, Bob Knight was somebody that you could definitely not do the things he did back in the day in today's world. That probably shouldn't have been doing him back then, but I think he authentically thought that he was trying to grow stronger young men through that. Yes, Vic, if you caught any fish up there at the coach's hole in Wyoming.
We appreciate Coach Schaefer giving us his thoughts again on the passing of Bobby Knight. Final 9 minutes to go here in Austin. Texas has hit the century mark. 100-34. Taylor Jones with 22 points. Hattie 5 with 15, and there is the former Texas Tech transfer. This is down low.
I have a quiz for you here. So Bobby Knight coaches the 1984 Olympic team, right?
I don't know the answer.
Well, name
already.
a couple players that were on the team, can you?
1984 Olympic team, Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Who he predicted Michael Jordan's success before anyone else knew he was going to be a legend.
Patrick Ewing was on that team. Chris Mullen, Sam Perkins.
Not a bad roster. Oh, well, now that I think about it, John Concack, Chris Mullen.
Remember John Concack?
Alvin Robertson, Wayman Tisdale.
SMU, come on.
Top of mind. Steve Alford, and one.
So here's my real question. Who did he cut from that team that was so controversial?
Who would that be?
Mr. Controversial himself, Charles Barkley. Karl Malone also wasn't on the team. John Stockton not on the team. Those guys could have been on the team. I played on the national team during that time. I was the last player on the women's team cut when they went from 17 to 12, and so I followed that team quite a bit and the Olympics throughout that time.
Gisela Maul, nice moves.
How about this lineup right now? Really nice job of executing out there by Maul. Saw a couple of good looks by Wenentanda.
Booker jumping in there. She's back in the contest. Cortez from outside. Catalina Cortez.
5'2" over 6'2".
How do you think Vic Schaefer would grade this performance tonight?
I think they've done some good things. I think he would say that there's some really good things and some lineups that have played really well together. But those are the kind of things, the little mistakes, just not paying attention to detail that I think bother him, but I've seen a Vic that's a little more patient this season in the sense of teaching.
There's a little bit of teaching going on right now. With that, we'll take a timeout. 7.5 to go.
Good for him. Normally in that burnt orange these days.
Great spirits watching them take home World Series victory. Watching her daughter starring tonight. 22 points, 7 boards, 4 blocks, and 17 minutes for Taylor Jones. A healthy Taylor Jones, perfect from the field.
Well, and remember, she was one of those players that transferred in, first-year player last year for Texas. I think people forget how many new players came into this system last season as transfers and what an adjustment that was.
And it finally feels like Vic has his team in place. Again, now entering his 4th year. The roster is stacked. Deepest team of his era since he arrived here on the 40 acres. And big things expected this year from them.
Vic Schaefer always talks about how important it is to put exceptional recruiting classes and stack them, and he has done just that. The only player on this roster right now is Shea Hawley that he did not recruit out of high school or bring to Texas. Even Deanna Gaston, who's a 4th-year player, he recruited. Originally, she signed with Mississippi State and then wanted to come here when Vic Schaefer signed on as the coach here.
The foul is when Ntanda was driving to the bucket.
There's Deanna Gaston right there. That is a talented young lady, and as we talk about injuries, last season was the first year that she played in every single game as a Texas Longhorn. Now in her senior year, had that injury to her ankle a couple of weeks ago after a Big 12 first team all conference season, and picked to be on the first team again this year. Certainly hope to see her back on the floor soon.
She was 2nd in the entire conference last year in field goal percentage. They told us probably a minimum of 2 weeks, and then they'll see from there how she's feeling. But again, you'd rather obviously have it happen now in the season as opposed to later on when you hit the home stretch. Hattie Phi, unstoppable. She's up to 19 points and 11 boards in 17 minutes.
And again, good decision making by Mal, who's able to get to the basket, recognize the double team, and just make the easy pass.
Ntanda having a strong second half.
Again, going with that big lineup. Vic Schaefer starting 4 guards today. And now playing 4 players over 6 feet tall, along with his point guard at 5'11", Gisela Mal.
All with 13 points in 15 minutes. Ntanda wide open path to the bucket.
There's just so many mismatches, and when you have a ball handler with that kind of size that can get to the rim, it's so tough to defend.
Talked about Texas's defense throughout the broadcast. Last year, the Longhorns were 22-0 when holding teams below 60 points.
I think if there is one area I would like to see Texas improve on this season is defensively, is when they face teams that have great shooters, finding those shooters, not having lapses. That's going to be the real test for Texas as they run through this, this November and December. They'll face a couple of teams like that, but as they get into conference, it's going to be a big test to see if they can get better in that one area, because when they were able to hold teams to under 60 points, it was great. But the problem they had when they didn't hold teams under were the shooters. They couldn't find shooters.
That's a great point. Who is the shutdown, lockdown defender on this team?
Yeah, well, I mean, it had to be Rory the last couple of years, I think, especially last season, because she just took it personally. But I think they're looking at Gisela Mal or Codio to be able to come in and play minutes and be a defender like that. It might be multiple people.
Prior to last year, it was Joanne Allen Taylor and Audrey Warren as Jada Gomez, the Pflugerville native, hits the 3.
A bunch of fans and family behind the bench over there for Midwestern State cheering her on. Get back to shooting, defensive shooting, but I want some barbecue that they had last night.
More of that. Is revamp this roster in her first year.
And I think she's expecting great things. She's, you can't really talk about signees until next week when they actually sign, but she's excited about the future and what players might play for her in the future. There's great college or high school basketball players to recruit in the state of Texas, so she's in a hotbed of a recruiting area up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
6 players brought in from her old school, Texas Wesleyan. Again, a longtime friend of associate head coach for the Longhorns, Elena Lovato. Here's Muenentanda continuing her hot hand in the second half.
Yeah, impressive. Muenentanda has showed some really good concentration, poise out there. I mean, she's defending someone much smaller than she is, which is very, very, very difficult to do.
That one heaved up circus shot by Gomez. Jakalenga Muenentanda, 17 points in 18 minutes, 8 of 10 from the field. And one, Amina Muhammad.
Well, both Muhammad and Muenentanda look so much more calm out there this season. Poised again. They're going to make mistakes. They're just sophomores, but you see the ability to stay focused, get in the passing like Vic Schaefer likes, and get down the floor. And then Amina Muhammad, you know, probably where she could improve is being able to stretch the defense by shooting better on the outside. But she's so quick when she puts the ball on the floor and so long when she gets it up.
And in there for the first time tonight is Tiana Herron, the transfer from Kentucky, former 4-star prospect who has just a fascinating story. Didn't play last year with Kentucky because she underwent an 8-hour open heart surgery last August. Been complaining of chest pain shortly after arriving on campus, and that raised a lot of concern because when she was just 8, she had been diagnosed with an abnormal heartbeat. The doctors later realized she had a congenital heart defect. It was seen in actually less than 1% of the entire population. Underwent the surgery, and then afterwards you realize, you know what, I think I want to be closer to home after this ordeal. I want to be closer to family. And ended up transferring to Texas in the offseason.
Well, and she's put a lot of work in, and she's going to get better and better as her health improves, as she gets into better shape, as she heals.
There she is.
That's one thing, though, that in Vic Schaefer's offense, that dribble drive, she can move from side to side and finish at the rim. She's going to be valuable. Got a great touch.
But answering on the other end is Jada Gomez.
I just love the spirit that these players have for Midwestern State. They are not intimidated. They just take shots when they're open, continue to battle.
And Jada Gomez is getting to do this in front of her friends and family. Again, just up the road in Pflugerville. Look at the moves by Gisela Maul. Oh my, couldn't finish, but Herron does.
Yeah, again, that Herron's right around the rim with that size. Soft touch, long, long arms.
Getting an open look is Michaela Coy.
Nice job by Coy right there, just to read the fact that she's being guarded by a big that's a little bit slower, kind of find an open spot, get her shot off.
Final 2.5 minutes of this contest on the night. Texas shooting 74% and dominating points in the paint. An 86-12 advantage in the paint in favor of the Longhorns. Right on the edge of the paint was Maul. Herron down low, drawing the foul.
Her nickname is Tree because she is so tall, and you see Herron on the inside with just these really, really nice hands, nice high pass, get the ball off quickly. She's got some impressive touch, I think, with those soft hands, and if she can put some minutes in like that for Vic Schaefer, that will be a bonus this season.
Former high school teammate of Amina Muhammad at DeSoto. And up and down this roster, even the players that have barely played were top recruits coming out of high school. .210 to go from Austin, and the Horns will open the regular season next Wednesday against Southern here from Moody Center. Missing from outside, Muenentanda, again 14 points in the second half for the sophomore.
And a lot of rebounds too. She's hitting the boards, going to the boards, even though she's playing outside defense on somebody smaller than she is.
6 rebounds. Muenentanda driving and drawing the foul.
You've asked me, what do you think of this team this season?
Again, just on paper coming in, it was by far the deepest of the Vic Schaefer era, especially compared to last year. And watching it now, I mean, that's holding true. Again, Texas relied heavily on players like Amina Muhammad at times. As you saw, Rory Harmon and Shaylee Gonzalez on the bench watching this. They're doing this tonight, dominating without 4 or 5 players, including a couple of starters, Gaston and Moore. Texas picked to win the Big 12, coming off their first conference title since 2004. Number 13 in the nation, now with some added motivation after getting knocked out in the second round of the NCAA tournament a year ago. I know Vic Schaefer certainly not used to that.
Vic Schaefer, 2 times he took Texas to the Elite Eight his first 2 seasons. Last season, a bit of a disappointment. I think overall, in the long run, down the stretch, that loss to Baylor late in the season at home when they could have clinched the outright title instead of sharing it with Oklahoma. The fact that they lost to Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game at the tournament, and then the loss to Louisville. Those things you remember. You just feel them in your bones if you played in those games, and you do not want that to happen again.
Another former top recruit is now in the game for Texas, Jordana Codio, who's coming off a torn ACL in her right knee in back-to-back years. She was a top 15 guard in the class of 2022, 11 to be exact, talented player out of Florida.
And she's actually had 3 ACL reconstructions on that knee. She injured it in high school, injured it in AAU play, and then she had it redone here at Texas. So it's been a long haul for her coming back to getting healthy.
Maul hustling back on defense. Leading transition the other way with the dish to Amina Muhammad.
Yeah, very nice. Good job by these players, all of these players that are coming in to continue to push tempo, get the ball up the floor, run the floor.
Getting a hand on it was Codio. Committed to Wisconsin after freshman year of high school. Family used to live there, but after the coaching staff was relieved of their duties, decided to change her mind, open it up, and now getting an opportunity with Texas. Final 50 seconds of this one. An impressive showing for the Longhorns, to say the least. Number of players, double-digit scoring. Jones with 22, 5 with 19. Winantanda with 19 as well. Amina Muhammad driving through the defense for the bucket.
I think if there's one area Texas could improve on from this game is, again, those turnovers. You look at the Texas turnovers, they're 18. 9 of those coming in that first quarter. Just having better focus to start a game. Listen to me, though. This is an exhibition game, but this is the kind of attention to detail that Vic Schaefer also wants. And he wants perfection every minute on the floor.
Absolutely paying attention to that. Is a late bucket from the corner for Michaela Coy.
Yeah, Michaela Coy's hit some tough shots. She has been aggressive throughout this game, played hard.
Texas will hold for the final shot of the night. The Longhorns broke this one open in the second quarter when they outscored the Mustangs 41-5 and haven't looked back since then. And that'll do it for this exhibition matchup from Moody Center as the Longhorns take it 124-52.
Yeah, really, really impressed with many of the Texas players today.
चल के बा बंदे के ए भोला समिति से भमिया तोहार सिर्फ संडे के बुझो जी अब करे हमारे इंतजार किसन संडे के सुन
झूमी पर्वत पहाड़ गजा खाती सारी रात होके कितनो दिन तो